guys, and welcome to the first episode slash attempt at All Things Single Seater here with me and Jordan. How are you today, my friend?
I'm good. How about you?
Yeah, good. First topic for discussion today is probably one of the talking points from this week, I'd say, which is the new Haas driver lineup. Which did they make the right call, Jordan? What's your opinion on that?
Um, I think they did. Looking at it now, I think they did. At first, when they made the announcement, I was a bit like, is this the right decision? He hasn't been in an F1 car for over a year. He hasn't even been in paddock for a year either. It's not like he's come to a couple of the races and sat in the back of the Haas garage. I was a bit like, don't think this is the right call, but more you see of him on social media and watching the testing, he's in the garage talking to the engineers, or stuff like that. And then for him to be in the car yesterday, I'm thinking 100% this was the right call.
Yeah, I agree. I think I was nervous they were going to put Fittipaldi in the car, and I don't think he's a bad driver, but I don't think he's anywhere near the standard of K-Mag. I kind of wanted it to be Hulkenberg because obviously he'd been reserve driver for Aston and everyone loves Hulkenberg. But I think it's the right call because, yeah, K-Mag, he's only 29 and he's been around, he's 2 years older than me. That's really depressing, actually. Good one.
But do you not think if they kept Magnussen last year, they might have been a bit further up? Might have had some, maybe even got in the points because they've got an experienced driver.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, the Haas wasn't a good car, but they were fighting with Alpha and Williams at a lot of races, and they got points. So I know obviously some of Williams' points were lucky. You have to turn up to get those points. But I think a race like Hungary, Mazepin, that wasn't really his fault. Raikkonen just drove into him at the pit lane, but I think a race like Hungary, you saw how well Mick did, and if you had another driver in there, 2020 in Hungary, Magnussen scored points for Haas, and that car wasn't very good at all. And yeah, I just think there were a lot of races where people were there to pick up the pieces last season, and with someone more experienced, they could have got a few points, I think. It'd be interesting to see how he does today, though, because he said his body's going to be quite dead. So don't expect a fastest lap from him today, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, he's been living in America, hasn't he, for the past year, doing bits and pieces. He tested for IndyCar. I think he was the slowest of everyone. And then his first day testing, it's just like, wow. How different are the two sports?
Yeah.
Obviously, he's been in F1 for years, but he's been out of it as well. So does put it in perspective of how different these two sports are, but they're also very similar.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. I think IndyCar is a weird one. You've got so many drivers of different ages. Like, I was watching some races last year, and you've got drivers like Takuma Sato, who was racing in F1 in 2008 was his last season, and clearly it's a series that you have to really focus and understand how to drive the car as well, which kind of shows because you've got other drivers in there. I think Bourdais was in there last year. I'm not sure if he's in there this season, but I think he's in his 40s now, but still putting results in an IndyCar. But I don't think that means that the series is necessarily easier, but I think it's just completely different in driving style as well.
Yeah, definitely.
And then there's Formula E as well, which is just a completely different side as well, like, completely different to drive there as well, which is interesting.
Yeah. Obviously, they do more street circuits, which could be more damaging in results and stuff. So you really have to be on your A game.
Yeah.
Whereas obviously Formula One, you've got a mixture of everything. So yeah, it's interesting to see how everything is so different, but training to get your fittest is almost the same.
Yeah, definitely. And you think you've got some, like, Giovanazzi's moved over to Formula E this year, and he's not really setting the world alight at the moment. So clearly, last season in F1, he had some great drives and like really, really fast quali sessions and everything as well. So he's clearly not slow, but he's just got to adapt, I guess. You've got Dan Ticktum in there as well. I think he's his teammate. Am I right? Might be wrong.
He's Antictum's with Neo 333.
Okay.
It's with Oliver Turvey, I think it is. Antictum and Giovinazzi are way starting near each other.
Yeah.
They haven't got the best cars on the grid, but it's interesting to see how they'll get on and what results they can deliver.
Definitely, actually, yeah, no, of course. I had in my head that Formula E was like all the same, but it's not, is it? All the cars are like completely different in pace. And okay, I feel a bit harsh now for saying that he was last. We're not doing very well. Clearly, I'm the novice of Formula E.
It's strange when you first watch it. You're a bit like, like so much to learn. You kind of have to like clear your mind from every other bit of motorsport, and then like even more so now that they've brought new things in, like the qualifying session. It's completely different to last year, which is good. They're updating it, and yeah, it's just so much to learn.
What is the quali session like now?
Now it's a dual qualifying.
Okay.
And so you go in like two groups, like Group A, Group B, and the four fastest from each group move on, and they battle it out, and then till the very end, you have one person from Group A and one person from Group B, then whoever's the fastest obviously is on pole. It's confusing when like you're explaining it to someone, but once you see it, it's actually very good. The first one they done in Saudi Arabia this year, they had it split screen.
Okay.
So you have one driver start and another driver, like they wait a little while and then they start, but you have a split screen of them doing their lap.
Okay.
And little like column in the middle of who's fastest and the gap.
Okay.
It's really interesting. Like once you watch it, you'll understand.
That's pretty cool. Kind of like, is it like basically like one shot? They've got like one lap to.
One lap every like duel or even in the group stages, it's just one lap.
Okay, that's cool. Actually, I like that because you can't make mistakes. Well, you can, but you won't get through.
Yeah.
Should we jump back to F1 and testing teams, liveries, cars? A lot of shocks. I think the biggest one is Mercedes and forgetting to put side pods on, I guess. Well, forgetting. But what's your opinion of that? Do you think people will protest? Apparently Horner has, as of today.
You say that. I've seen so many mixed things about Horner and this Mercedes. 1 minute he's like, I haven't said anything about it. And then the next minute he's like, they've actually created something which looks okay and it ticks all the boxes to be legal. And like I saw like maybe an hour ago saying that he's thinking of protesting it.
Yeah,
I'm just like, can you make up your mind?
I
Either you're going to or you're not.
I went to bed last night and I saw the video of him talking in the press conference and he was like, yeah, it's definitely legal. And the first thing I saw this morning was Horner's going to protest. It's like, dude, make up your mind. But it's all head games, isn't it? I think he knows it's fine, or he's confident that it's fine, but he just wants to add fuel to the fire, basically.
Yeah, well, I was watching testing yesterday. It was there was interviewing Ross Brawn, and he got asked if all the cars are okay, Has anything come up which is a massive red flag? And he said no. Like, at the moment, the cars are okay. All different designs, but there's nothing where it's like, hold on a minute, we need to double check this on, I don't know, the Alpine or the McLaren. So it's a bit like, well, head of F1 is saying like it's okay, so why are the teams saying it's not? Yeah, it's quite interesting to see all the different designs, but Mercedes, I think, is probably the most out there with the no side pod. It could work, but no one really knows until the first race. Yeah, no one is actually running full power.
Yeah.
They're just testing for reliability on other things.
Yeah, I hope that's true, and I hope Ferrari still have more to give because they look great, to be honest.
Yeah, they're most definitely the favourites, I think, so far.
Yeah, I can't call it at the moment with how... I do think when all the cars are moving, they do look good. They look aggressive. The Ferrari side pods, though, I think they're a little bit weird, and here's why. So, what if it rains? They're just going to fill up like a sink. like, surely that can't be good. But it does look nice, and I like the colour. I like that it's darker.
Yeah, I like it as well. I think some years with Ferrari, they don't... I think they've done something really good with it, but it's just like, hype it up, and then it's like, I think, and we're just like, oh, it's red. But this year, everyone's like, wow, it's red, but like a good red.
It's darker red. I like it. No, I do like it. I'm shocked that only Alfa Romeo have put colours on the wheel. Like, I thought a lot of teams were gonna make like the wheel, because the rims are bigger. Like, so I thought the rims would be a different colour. I was expecting Alpine to have a bright pink one, like bright pink wheels.
Yeah, they should have. You never know, they might bring it in for halfway through the season.
Yeah.
You know, they might shock everyone and do it.
Yeah. Who do you think's looking like? What's your order? Like, what do you think the top 10 is at the moment?
I will probably put Ferrari top.
Yeah.
I don't think there's no doubt in them. They've not run into a single problem. Some part of me thinks that's good, but then other part of me thinks, well, have they tested absolutely everything? Mercedes have tested quite a few different things, different wings, front wings. And obviously, they've come with a completely different car than in Barcelona. It makes you think, well, Mercedes might have some. I don't think you can ever rule off Mercedes.
Yeah, definitely.
Because they've dominated the sport for so long. They get this wrong, it's going to go very wrong, I think. I don't know, it's a bit of a tough one. I think there's going to be a few surprises, a couple teams going up, whereas a couple teams might go down. I think Aston Martin aren't going to do well this year.
Their car looks like...
I feel like they're not confident. I see the car on track and I'm just like, it looks like they're just driving the car for no reason.
Yeah.
That sounds really harsh, and I could be really wrong, but it's just like, well, not doing anything like where I think, hold on a minute, teams haven't done this. Like, it just looks like they're having a car like in free practice, and it's like, well, okay.
Yeah, it doesn't look aggressive, does it? Like, it doesn't. I mean, granted, Stroll had that nice little battle with Alonso, which is quite nice to see. But every day, both drivers are just locking up and going off track, and it just looks very hard to move, like to turn, which isn't great.
I think most cars are like that, but I think Aston Martin have struggled with it the most. That's why they probably look like they're doing so bad, because they haven't figured it out.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think this year is important for a lot of teams, a lot of drivers, though, and I think if what we were saying with Mercedes, and if they've got it wrong, it could be like Red Bull from 2013 to 14 when they got it wrong, and I don't think it is, because we know what Mercedes are like. They never run full power, and they're not. They've got something else that they can press, and they're just suddenly at the top. But if they are a little bit slower, it could really hurt Lewis's chances of that 8th title. And I hope for that sake that they're still up there. It doesn't look like they're pushing really.
Yeah, but this is obviously Mercedes we're talking about. Like last year, obviously, normally they dominate season testing. Obviously, last year was the first year that they actually didn't. Then everyone was like, "Oh, this is like Red Bull's year," or stuff like that. You think like Max would have won the championship so early on if he didn't have the Mercedes there. So just before I came on it, I saw a video of Lewis doing an interview with Sky, and they asked like, "How is the car? How are you doing like with the car?" And he was like, "It's good," like smiling, and he was like, "It's going good," and like he can't downplay it. Like whereas other drivers, they're like, "Oh well, it's going okay."
But we've got to
Things
look
to
at
work
this.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is that I think it's still quite close. I don't think Haas will actually be up there. I think they'll be a midfield team this year.
Yeah.
Alfa Romeo look okay. Bottas says they've got rid of their reliability issues, which is good, but I don't think they're going to be... Again, I think the order will be fairly similar, but potentially Aston Martin will be in the bottom 3, as it were. And maybe like one of the Williams, Alfa or Haas will then move up and be properly fighting in the midfield sort of thing. I think McLaren have got some issues as well, haven't they? They've got brake problems.
Yeah, they was waiting on parts to come in. They came in today. All I've got to say is poor Lando. Like, he must be in agony for being in the car 3 days straight, hours on end. And I'm just thinking, like, he must hurt. I think if they had Daniel there testing with them, they might have been able to get another point of view.
Yeah.
Which is obviously what having 2 drivers is about, is having different opinions, see what they can do to help the situation, make it better. But just because it's Lando, I think they're struggling in that aspect. It's just him. Yeah, I hope they've got something up their sleeve, McLaren.
Yeah.
Without obviously Ricardo testing, it might set him on the back foot this year and potentially the team.
I do worry about that because I'm going to mention Drive to Survive. I've watched some of the episodes last night, and they're very good at making it out like there's a big team rivalry or a big inter-team battle and they hate each other. And there's an episode on Danny Rick. They make it out that Lando hates Danny Rick, in my opinion, or that he just doesn't care that he's doing badly and that he's happy that he's doing badly. And there's like a scene where they're talking about Lando's new contract, and there's so much tension between the 2 drivers. But I don't know if that's just like added or there was actually tension back then. So
yeah, and then it will play on to the team, making it a bad atmosphere. Obviously, last year, everyone thought Lando and Daniel would get on, be the best of friends straight away. It's going to be great. All the things on social media we're going to get. Yeah. In reality, you're not going to get that straight away. Daniel is over 30. Lando's early 20s.
Yeah.
There is like a 10-year age gap between them. They're not going to have the same look on life at this time. But throughout the season last year, they started getting closer, and I think Monza 1-2 helped them gel, and from then on, you're seeing a different side to both of them, but together. It will be interesting to see how the pair get on throughout the year.
Yeah. It'll also be interesting if Danny can actually race. I mean, obviously, I know they're saying that he will be back, which is fine, and that's what I think 99% sure he will be back, but if he gets another negative test midweek, it could. Who would they put in the car? Do they have anyone that they can put in the car?
They do. So Annie is meant to come out of isolation on Thursday.
Okay.
That's cutting it very close. They will be either putting Nick de Vries or Stoffel van Dorn in the car. They've got an agreement with Mercedes.
Nice, okay. The thing is, every time Stoffel van Dorn gets a chance of being a reserve driver, it goes to someone else, so I'm just going to say it's going to go to de Vries. Like...
Yeah, but how good would it be to see Van Dorn back in that Mercedes? Not Mercedes, McLaren.
It would be good, yeah, it would be really good. It would be a very hard task, depending how that McLaren is. I'm not convinced he'd necessarily get points, but I'm sure he'd put in a good show and actually, have a good race pace and things like that. Likewise with de Vries as well, though. I can't believe he's still not in the sport, to be honest.
I know, bless him. I don't understand how the whole thing works. Like, my opinion, if you win the F2 championship, you should be guaranteed a seat in F1.
Yeah.
Obviously, Nick's gone on to Formula E, and now he's won the championship, and he's now hopefully going to retain that title. It's like, well, what else can he do? What else does he have to prove he should have a seat in Formula One?
I know, he did, well, all the young driver tests he did with Mercedes, he was always up there. And it does annoy me because I think, like, not necessarily the top, yeah, definitely the top, the winner should get it. But I mean, I know that obviously they've brought in that if you finish in the top 5, I think you get a super license, so it's effectively a free fall out of that. But I mean, you look at it over the last couple of years, like Ilott, he's not in the sport. I think he should be, or I think he should be close. Yep. I'm only saying that because he replied to my TikTok the other day, so giving him a shout out for that. I'll tag him in this one as well, get him watching us. But I think he should be in the sport. That the Haas seat I felt should have gone to it should have either stayed with K-Mag or gone to Ilott if they did want an all-rookie lineup. But I think it's very clear that they needed Mazepin's money at the time. Drive to Survive makes Mazepin's dad out to be a horrible man as well, and I don't know if they mean to do that.
Not being rude. Don't think he's the best person.
Yeah.
Well, I think once you cross him, that's it. All ties are cut.
Yeah.
And I think that showed it in Drive to Survive.
Yeah.
I watched it and I was just like, like, this has gone on behind the scenes. Like, no one actually knew that what happened in Drive to Survive happened on that race weekend, and I didn't know that. I don't know if anyone else.
No.
To potentially do what he said he was going to do, definitely paints a picture.
Yeah, 100%. And he was so happy to risk making everyone in the team nervous and having bad morale by saying those things. Like, Mazepin said that Gunter was actually really good with him and really supportive, and told him, had stern chats with him for when he needed to kind of grow up a bit, and he said it really helped. And part of me thinks that he was a better father figure than his dad last season. I mean, it's alright, he'll never watch this, he doesn't know who I am. But I mean, I just didn't think he was good for the sport. And how, has the team have lifted with K-Mac coming back in, I think it shows that maybe it just wasn't the right fit for him to be there at that time, maybe.
Yeah, they uploaded a video on Wednesday, was it? Haas, and it was obviously Magnussen going into the team saying hello to people, and I just got a massive smile on my face because the team seems so much happier. Yeah. It's just wow, how much has the team changed in the past 2 years?
Yeah.
It had obviously Grosjean and Magnussen, and they went on to 2 rookies, and now they're back with Schumacher and Magnussen. So it's maybe this is the perfect pairing for Haas at this time.
I think it's a strong lineup. Obviously, Mick's not fully proven in the sport yet, and we only had him to compare against Mazepin. Take nothing away from Mazepin as well. I do think he's a very talented driver. I just don't think he had the best. I don't think he had the best opinion in the public eye. I can't wait to watch the rest of Drive to Survive, to be honest, because it's like a soap opera at the moment. Like, from what I watch.
Yeah, I feel like I'm back watching EastEnders or something.
Yeah.
But it's got so much more drama.
Yeah, literally. There was a comment on there, which brings us on to our next topic of team, which is AlphaTauri. Have you seen the episode where Perez is walking behind Tsunoda?
Yeah.
Where he points at him and he goes, "Oh, that's a man. He's so small."
I think Yuki is quite underrated.
Yeah.
Like, even the fact, obviously, last year was his first year. He came into Bahrain, first race, he scored points. And everyone was like, oh my god, like, let's push Max and Lewis to the side a minute. A rookie's just gone and got points. And then, obviously, he had a bit of a rough patch. Obviously, crashing, not scoring any points. His lovely radio comments. I don't like Abu Dhabi. He was quite forgotten about. He finished P4.
Yeah. I mean,
And it did take me a good half an hour to see that he finished P4, but he afterwards I was like, oh my god, like, what? After everything he had gone through, like ups and downs, crashing, not crashing, having a good drive but not scoring points, he finally put it together on the last race of the season and actually got a good amount of points.
Yeah.
I think because of how he was over the radio, he's got given a yeah. And I think when you watch Drive to Survive, it shows how much he has changed.
Yeah.
See, he was living in Milton Keynes, and then because of what was going on in F1 and stuff, he moved to Italy, and I think it's changed him. I think he's grown up a bit more. He's got an understanding of what to do within the team, and I think he's got more confidence.
Yeah, I think he's also as well got fitter. I think he said that he didn't take anything seriously, did he?
No, like, what was it? They said on Drive to Survive that they have to train between 2 to 6 hours a day?
Yeah.
Something like that. And he was like, I don't do this.
Yeah.
I don't. Don't make me run up a hill.
Yeah, literally. He is, yeah, I think it was a big shock, but I mean, with the P4 in Abu Dhabi, like, yeah, he deserved a lot of credit for that. I think a lot of people didn't notice it, obviously. A lot of people didn't see it, but I think, or it was forgotten, as you said. But I think a lot of rules were forgotten in Abu Dhabi as well. So just to add to that, so, I love you, Massey. But yeah, you know he picked the race to do his best result in. And another thing that people were saying as well is potentially, had Max and Lewis collided on that last lap, Yuki would have been P2. So I mean, like,
and Carlos would have got his first win.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, if you look back at that last race, it's like so many different things could have happened.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, what would have been the craziest thing to happen? Like, I really couldn't think of like what could be the craziest. Literally anything.
Yeah.
No one thought Latifi was going to crash in the last few laps and there'd be a safety car and whatever, and like, it was all going smooth. But it's F1. We should know that it shouldn't be like that.
Yeah. It was it literally anything could have happened, and if they had got their act together a couple of laps earlier and maybe like everyone had unlapped themselves, anyone could have finished anywhere. Like
Yeah,
literally.
it would have. I said we should have just scrapped the whole season for Max and Lewis and just do, I don't know, sprint race.
Yeah.
Whoever finishes first wins the championship. Everyone else can do the full 22 rounds.
Yeah.
Max and Lewis just can do a sprint race and see who finishes. They win the championship.
Yeah. Well, they could
Let
do
other
Formula E
people win.
qualifying. They can do the Formula E duo.
Yeah, that'll be well interesting to see who
Who can catch the
come
other
out
one
on top.
first? Like,
Uh,
no, it would be good. But I think, yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. Who's your who would you say is your? Actually, yeah, this is gonna be a hard one. But give me your top 10 for Bahrain. Prediction.
Top 10?
Yeah, I want it, and we can discuss it after the race and just see who was closest. Should we do top 5? Will top 5 be easier?
Either one. I'm not fussed. It's more like the top, figuring out top 3.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
I don't think anyone has shown full potential in their cars. I will do it. I will give you my prediction.
Should we have a quick look at the current testing times? If everyone's turned their engine up, let's have a quick look at those.
They've just finished, haven't they, for the morning session? So
yeah, they
should
have. Yeah. See, it's good that we didn't script any of this.
Yeah.
Perez tops it. Okay. In a new Red Bull. Oh, Red Bull have changed their side pods, which is interesting.
Yeah. I'm not overly. I looked at the picture and I was like, "What's the difference?"
Yeah.
Like they showed their was like a picture put on I think Instagram,
Yeah.
and it was the car yesterday and car today. And I was like this. I was like,
Zooming in.
I was squinting everything because I was just like, huh? And then I saw another picture and I saw the difference, but it's nothing where I'm like, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas the Mercedes, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. It's almost like Red Bull have just like got a hammer and been like, yeah, we're just gonna take a little bit of our side pod off just to show everyone that we can do it too.
Yeah.
So we got Perez, and then we got Guan Yu Zhou currently second.
yeah, I was gonna say he went flying. Like him and Perez were literally just swapping times.
Wow. Okay. And then Mercedes been doing Mercedes things. Lewis on the fastest tyre in 9th. Yeah, of course. And then, so realistic. It's quite interesting. Obviously, everyone's on different tyres. So Carlos Sainz is on the fastest tyre, but he's currently 4th with a 34.905. But again, that's not realistic at all, is it? To be honest, I think looking at lap counts, McLaren have got the fewest at the moment with only 39.
But I think that's the most they've done in like one session over the past days.
Yeah. Maybe Lando's just tired. He's just there, Jarv, I can't do this. Get me in the garage. That's interesting though. I wasn't expecting Zhou to be up there. I can't call it because Latifi's up in 7th. Stroll's down in 8th. I would have expected that, but I think that's just because we think they're going to be quite slow. And then Magnussen's down in 10th on the second hardest tyre, so doesn't offer much.
I don't know. Like looking at it, really don't know. Like one changes. Like I think 1 minute it's going to be Ferrari's year.
Yeah.
Potentially Carlos Sainz versus Charles Leclerc for the championship. With a few people added in, but it'll be them main two.
Yeah.
Which I'd love to see.
Yeah.
But then you can't obviously count out Max.
Yeah.
World champion. Got a lot to prove. He wants to win another title this year. So, and he wants to do lead the constructors as well.
Yeah.
Then Perez isn't going to be the same driver as he was last year. He's already said he wants to fight for the championship.
Yeah.
It's like, how much does he want it? No offence, but will he be another
Allowed.
Bottas?
Yeah. Will he be allowed to go for it?
Obviously, every year Bottas has been with Mercedes. I think apart from his first, he said he's going to go for the championship.
Yeah.
And yeah, most every year the only two title contenders are Lewis and Valtteri, but he doesn't keep it consistent with the race wins.
Yeah.
Which is probably his downfall. Red Bull is a good car, like a very good car, even better than last year.
Yeah.
Could we see Verstappen and Perez
being the two main title rivals?
Yeah, but then again, like you said, would they allow that?
I think if it was, because yeah, Red Bull have got like they've got continuity. They've got the same two drivers. Perez, who is loved by the team. Obviously, they know that. I think Perez knows he's not their number one, but he is loved by the team. He's not that far off Max. I don't think he's actually that slow.
No, if he was slow, he wouldn't have been.
Yeah. I think Baku
season.
showed, Abu Dhabi showed, Turkey showed that he can take on Lewis, and like they've got the same, and they're building together. And as you say, they've got a better car. Mercedes now have a young driver who wants to win.
Yeah, but he's hungry. He wants to. George wants to prove himself, like.
But he wanted to prove himself in Imola last year, and that didn't go to plan. I reckon we should do teammates, quali battle, and race. So who's going to win the quali battle out of the teammates, and who's going to finish higher in the standings? So, should we go Red Bull first? I think that'd be quite an easy one.
Yeah. Max.
Really? Just a word?
Max for everything.
Yeah, cool. So Red Bull out of the way. We got Max and Max. Mercedes is a tricky one because Mr. Qualifying.
Even more so, like at Spa, he obviously qualified front row.
Yeah.
So it's like, what can he do in that Mercedes?
Yeah.
Obviously, we saw a little snippet of it in Bahrain when Lewis had COVID and he put it on the front row. Like the car did not fit him at all. It makes you think he could potentially beat Lewis in qualifying.
Yeah, I think he could.
But then we don't know about the race. The race could be completely different. Lewis could obviously do a masterclass, or George might do a masterclass. You don't know. They're two very good drivers.
Yeah.
Obviously, we all know what Lewis can do in a Mercedes, but we've only seen what George can do in a Mercedes with one race.
Yeah.
What can he do? All the preparation and so on. I'm 50-50.
Yeah.
Who do better?
I'm unsure. I think it will be very close, but I think Lewis will do both. I think Lewis will win quali and the race. I think he'll get more points throughout the season.
Yeah, I agree with that. Obviously, he wants to go for the 8th title. I don't think George is obviously going to go for his first this year.
Yeah.
I think they're going to look towards more the team, like the constructors. So I do think Lewis will probably beat George in races.
Yeah, I do think that George will have a few crashes this year. I don't want to say it. I don't want to be the one, but you've got to look like when Max went to Red Bull, he had a lot of silly incidents. When Charles went to Ferrari, Charles let it get to him a few times. I mean, I'm not saying it is going to happen, but if Lewis and George find themselves on track together, or George and Max doesn't back out, George doesn't back out,
Yeah. I don't know. I think, obviously, Max and Charles, when they joined Ferrari and Red Bull, they was younger. They're all the same age. Max George and Charles, they're all 24. So now that George has got given a chance to be in the big team after being in Williams for 3 years, it's like, well, I don't think he will crash.
No.
I think maybe he'll have one, maybe two.
Yeah.
But if you look at what he's done in the Williams, he hasn't crashed a lot.
Imola. Both years,
yes,
both years at Imola. He crashed out of
yeah,
points.
Both trying to get in the points as well. Both times.
Okay, if we ignore Imola, if we pretend Imola didn't exist, he's never crashed.
Erase Imola, put it out the door, see you later.
Yeah. So George has never crashed, so that's good. Yeah, I don't think he necessarily will, but I wouldn't be shocked or annoyed at him, or if he did have a few clumsy incidents. But it is his fourth season now, so
yeah, it'll be his fault.
Yeah, so he probably shouldn't be having those silly incidents, which is probably in his favour. So Mercedes were doing Lewis and Lewis, and Red Bull doing Max and Max. Ferrari's going to be interesting. I'm saying Charles for quali, Sainz for points.
I don't know. I really do not know. I might do the opposite.
Yeah.
I think Carlos for qualify and Charles for the race.
Okay.
I think Charles wants to prove a lot this year.
Yeah.
Obviously, last year wasn't the best year for him, but it was better. Than obviously the year before. Now that obviously Carlos is in his second year, and with a potential contract extension,
yeah,
Charles will want to be like, well, hold on a minute, I want this. I want a contract extension. I want to be number one.
Yeah.
And show everyone what he can do, which we know he can do. He's won races before, and been on the podium. So I think Charles will be up there in the races.
Okay, definitely. I think it's going to be a hard year for Sainz because he's got obviously his contract's up. I think they'll extend it, but he's probably going to want to start the year really, really strong. Because there's that risk of Schumacher, which we'll get to in a minute, because I've got a few theories on Nick. But yeah, so he's definitely going to want to start impressively. McLaren, I know what you're going to say.
This is easy. I think this is going to be the easiest one out of all of them. I'm going to say Lando for both.
That's a shock. Yeah, I'm also going to say Lando for both. I don't think Danny Rick's a poor driver. I think he's an outstanding driver. I think Lando is just that good.
He's young. He's hungry. He wants his first win.
Oh yeah.
If he doesn't get it this year, he will probably go off on one.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've all seen what he can do in qualifying, pole, second, third. Whereas obviously we haven't seen that from Ricciardo in a McLaren.
Yeah.
So it's like we can only go off last year and the potential of this car.
Yeah.
For this year. And at the moment it all points to Lando.
Yeah. I mean, obviously Danny Rick did get the win last year, but that was kind of it. I mean, you don't want to say, oh, that's all you did last year. You only won one race, but we were expecting more consistency from him. And I think Lando's in this stage of his career where he's just going to get better and better. So I'm also going to back that. I think Lando for both. The next few might be quite easy as well, actually. AlphaTauri. don't want to take anything away from Yuki, but again, I think Gasly is so much better than people think he is.
Yeah, he was so consistent last year.
Yeah.
P4, P5s. If he has the car, he could be potentially up in the top 3.
Yeah.
Which I think everyone would like to see. Yeah, I agree. I think Pierre will just run away with both of them.
Yeah, definitely. I think it will be a better year for Yuki, but I think the only way that he can get his contract extended is if he's within sort of 20 or 30 points of Gasly, and I don't think that's going to happen. So, like, I don't think he's a bad driver. I think he'll get a fair few points, but it might be his final year. But honestly, like, he's quite funny and he's quite a nice guy, so I wouldn't be disheartened.
But that doesn't keep a Formula One seat, does it?
No, exactly. Money does, apparently. So I said all the wrong things. We're going to get cancelled on our first episode, Jordon. But it's all good. We're not big enough yet. No one's going to know who we are. But I think, yeah, AlphaTauri, I'd say Gasly for both. Who's next? Who is next? Alpine?
Oh.
Is it Alpine? This will be a hard one.
I don't know. I think Esteban has got, obviously, a lot he wants to show. I think he's got the potential. The win last year was kind of half given to him because of what Alonso did in the race. It's kind of like, well, would you have got that win if Alonso was there?
Yeah.
Like, no doubt he's talented, but I think he's got to prove it a bit more.
Yeah. I think it would have been very interesting. If Alonso wasn't there, then obviously Lewis would have caught Vettel and Ocon. I think Ocon did a good job at keeping Vettel behind him. But,
yeah.
But if Lewis got him, if Lewis overtook Vettel, I think it would have been a much different story. I don't think he could have kept Lewis behind him.
I think Alonso will do both.
Do you? Okay. I think it will be Ocon and quali, and I think Alonso will score more points throughout the season. Just because I really want him to win again before he retires.
Yeah, because obviously his contract is up this year.
Yeah.
So he's gonna. I don't think he really needs to prove himself, obviously, but he needs to put in that he wants to stay here.
Yeah.
If he does want to stay here, obviously, because he know there's obviously young ones wanting to come up. Obviously, Oscar Piastri sitting on the side at Alpine. He's like, come on.
Move over.
It's not going to be Esteban, is it, who goes? So it's like, well, I've got to go and I'm waiting for a seat.
Yeah.
But I think there will be pressure on Alonso, but he might feel it. Oh.
Yeah. I don't think he will care enough to allow the pressure to get to him. I think,
Probably come back in a few years.
Yeah, he'll be racing into his 50s. But okay, who's after Alpine? So Aston Martin. This is going to be a tricky one, because
I don't think so.
Do you not think so?
No.
Are you going to do? I want to know. Okay, are you going to say Stroll for both?
No.
You're going to say Seb for both?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Right. Okay. Right. Here's my thinking. So Seb's contract's up, isn't it, this year?
Yeah, it is.
And so is Stroll's, I think. And I know his dad obviously is.
I'm not sure on Stroll's, I don't think. I think it's a multi-year deal, so it could be either this year or next.
Okay. Because if Vettel outscores Stroll again and outqualifies him this year, Aston Martin can't get rid of him. because they'll keep Stroll because his son's in the team. His dad owns the team, so they can't get. I mean, obviously, I know Formula One they will. They got rid of Perez to get Vettel in anyway. But like, if Vettel outscores Stroll 2 years in a row and outqualifies him in the battle, they can't really justify bringing someone else in, can they? If Seb wants to stay, they probably have to give him that respect, I guess.
Yeah, but then you look at the team previously.
Yeah.
Look at Perez.
Yeah. There's no loyalty in F1, is there?
Oh, there's none. Obviously, Perez had quite a good 2020.
Yeah.
And him to not have a contract.
Yeah. Well, he did. He had a contract. Stroll bought.
Yeah.
I think Lawrence Stroll paid him off to go basically and kicked him out from the team. So yeah, it's not that great. They'll probably do the same for Seb, or they'll just get someone else in. But I don't know who they would get in. It could open up lots of.
There's lots of drivers coming up in F2 who could potentially fight for championship this year, who they could get in. They're all got they're all with Red Bull Williams. I don't think there's any of Ferrari this year in F2.
Okay.
They've got a few for Sauber and Mercedes.
Ooh, De Vries, Mercedes powered engine to an Aston Martin could work.
There's quite a few they could potentially nick off other teams. Yeah. I think Seb's got it in the bag.
Yeah, I think his experience over Stroll. I don't think Stroll's bad, but I think Stroll's race pace is better than his quali pace.
I thought Stroll would have done a lot better last year.
Yeah.
He's been with the team for a few years. Seb was obviously brand new to the team, and
Still
Seb kind of
podiums,
showed him up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, technically one podium, but he should have had two. But yeah, Stroll wasn't really. I mean, Stroll was part of the issue at Hungary that caused all the issues.
I mentioned that. I mentioned that.
So maybe he kind of helped, but I mean, yeah, I think I think Seb has it, but I want to see Stroll do well. He's been here for so long. Part of me thinks he's going to be another Hulkenberg or something like that, where he just doesn't actually quite do it.
I agree.
But I'd say Seb for both, and then we've got another easy one, Alfa Romeo.
It's got to be Bottas. Obviously, we don't know what Annie Joe can do in over the F1 weekend. Obviously, he's shown pace in testing, second. So I don't think that can be disregarded.
Yeah.
I don't think, if anything, he might do qualifying better than the race. Obviously, he's been with a championship winning team, so I think he'll still do both of them really well.
I think Bottas will easily win quali. I mean, Lewis said that Bottas was the closest ever teammate he's had for quali pace, and it won that pace is unbelievable. I think it depends how the Alpha is, because if the Alpha is kind of still like at the bottom of the points, Zhou could just have one good result and finish fifth and then jump, So I think it's definitely going to be Bottas for quali. I want to say Bottas for the standings as well, but I wouldn't if the car's not that good, I wouldn't be surprised if Zhou had like a couple of good weekends and got some good points, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Williams. This is actually a tough one, I think. Or
Are
you going to say Albon for both?
I don't know. I'm pretty much stuck in the middle. Obviously, George qualified Tiffy quite a lot.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, just a teeny tiny bit. I'd like to see Latifi do well in qualifying. I don't know if he's got that one lap pace.
Yeah.
I think Albon might just have it.
Yeah.
He's obviously got a lot to prove.
Yeah.
He's on a 1-year contract, I think.
So, yeah.
So he obviously wants to prove to other teams and obviously Williams that he's here to stay. So I think Albon will do better in qualifying. Whereas the race, don't know. It all depends on the car, really. But whoever can get the most out of the car hopefully should get into the points. Part of me thinks Latifi do better in the race. Because he's been with the team. He's going into his 3rd season now with the team, I think.
Yeah.
So he obviously wants to be that number 1 status in the team. And he wants to do that by getting points.
Yeah, definitely. I think Albon's 1 lap pace is quick. Obviously, remember Japan, he got identical to Max, so clearly he's got a bit of speed about him. So I think Latifi, obviously, his 1 lap pace wasn't great with George, but towards the end of last season, I do think part of it was after George was confirmed at Mercedes, Latifi ended up getting a little bit closer. So is that George kind of winding down for the season, or is that Latifi actually improving? Because Latifi did out-qualify him in Abu Dhabi as well.
He do it a couple of times, like maybe 2-3 times this last season.
Yeah, he did the sprint race, so he beat George in the sprint race in Monza, so he technically out-qualified him for like the grid start.
Yeah.
And I think there was one other as well, because me and my friend Jamie always watch the races, and we're always like, oh, Latifi, there we go, he's not got through, he's not beating George. And in Abu Dhabi, we were like, wait, hang on a minute, like, what's going on? But I think Albon for quali, and I think it will be it could be very close, but I'm going to go Albon for both, I think. It's a bold move, that, isn't it?
Oh. Yeah, that'll be
interesting. Yeah. And then Haas, like, I know what I want to say, but it might be a bit harsh on Mick if I say that.
Oh, Mick! Oh, this is just Mick slander. Like, what?
Go on then, hit me with your prediction.
Obviously, Mick qualified his face last season a lot.
Yeah.
But with Magnussen having the experience in F1, a lot more experience than Mick, it makes you think, will he outdo him on the 1 lap pace? Or potentially the race. But I'm going to do Mick for qualifying. This is bold. And Magnussen for the race.
Okay. I mean, Magnussen he has some very fast speed. I remember he put the Haas in, I think, P5 at Monaco, in that rich energy Haas, which did not deserve to be there. So, like...
Oh.
Are you going to go back on what you've said now? Like...
Oh, no, I stick with what I say. I said, like... see, Mick's going into his 2nd year. He's obviously helped towards his car.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
It's like...
He's always stronger as well, isn't he, on his 2nd season? But it is technically a new car, isn't it? It's new rules, so I don't know how much that's going to hurt him.
Yeah, but then how much could that hurt Magnussen? He's been out of the sport, hasn't he? So he didn't drive last year's car.
That's true.
So a lot can change within. Obviously, he was 2020 season. Skip a year of a car which wasn't actually that good, and then potentially go into a car which is quite good, but you don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
So, and obviously Mick's Ferrari driver academy, so he, we all know where he wants to be, so he has got a
Yeah.
lot to prove.
Yeah. I think Magnussen will out-qualify him more, but take nothing away from Mick's speed, and that's why this one's actually quite hard. I think I want it to be Magnussen because I'm glad he's back, but also, like, Mick's quality in Turkey last year, he got through to Q2, which was just
Yeah, I
amazing.
remember that.
Yeah. So I think this will be another close one, and I might get hate for this, but I think K-Mag will do both. Possibly. Yeah. Yeah, I think he will. I think he will. But it will be close. I think Mick will have quite a few standout races this year.
Yeah.
Which will be nice.
Yeah.
Which will be good. But I'm trying to think now. I've been trying to think of my top 10 as we've been doing this, as we've been talking about it.
I can't. I gave up. I was just like, you know what, like maybe after 3 practice sessions on Friday, I might be able to think of a top 10. But now
That's
it's
true,
just like,
actually. Now it's too hard. I think, yeah, because for all we know, Alfa Romeo could have their engine on like the lowest setting. Like,
yeah, they've got it on the lowest setting, but they still went P2 in the first session of today.
yeah, exactly. Like, so it's tricky. And they were also saying when they were setting lap times, Sainz has been going purple 1 and 2, and then slowest final sector because he's just lifting off to not set a fast lap. So, you know, there's so much mind games. I think we'll have to leave the predictions for after practice next week.
Yeah, definitely.
But I do think it's going to be a fascinating season for sure. Like,
Yeah, I'm hoping that obviously the point of these new cars is for racing. It's not guaranteed, but from looking at the times, like top 5 and whatever, it is very close. Obviously, you don't know what engine they're setting on, how much fuel they've got in the car. See, Lewis this morning had a full tank. So
yeah,
it's like, well, no one knows, and it's definitely interesting. Think of what's going to happen, but you might not actually think it till it does happen later on in the season. Hopefully we'll have quite a lot of race winners, maybe more than 2-3 for the championship contenders. But yeah, should be an exciting season.
Yeah, I'm going to make the boldest claim that I've ever made in my life. There will be, you ready? There will be 8 winners this year.
I could. How many was there last year?
6.
6.
No.
I can.
Yeah,
I
6.
can. I can see that. Obviously, I'm guessing it's Bull.
Yeah. Ferrari.
Both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, both Mercedes, both Red Bull, both Ferrari,
Do
definitely.
you think Georgie's going to win his first race this year?
Yeah. I think
Okay.
I hope so. And then part of me thinks so it'll be those top 3 teams, like both drivers, and then Lando.
Yep.
Fernando. I'm calling it.
Really?
Yeah. I'm gonna.
Oh.
That's my claim.
Ooh.
Those 8 are gonna win a race this year.
Okay. It's actually quite interesting.
I think it might happen. If it just depends on the cars. I hoped that Vettel would, but just from what I've seen of his car, I don't think he's got. I don't think he can. But yeah, I think that could happen.
What about Leslie?
Oh shit. Yes. Here,
There's going to be nine winners this year.
yeah,
Not
no,
8.
yeah. Let me redo that. There's gonna be 9 with Gasly as well. Oh yeah. Um,
Obviously, we're going to Miami, which is a brand new track.
mm,
So no one knows whose car that is going to suit. Well, no one knows what tracks will suit this car at all.
mm,
So it's kind of like a clean slate for all of them. But then you've got obviously Canada, which is returning.
yeah.
What else is there? I feel like there's another one I'm missing. Singapore
Singapore.
returning.
Um, China? No, Australia. Australia.
Australia, yeah.
Yes.
So obviously you've got the 3 returning tracks and Miami. Not sure what's going to go in place of Russia. There's a few which could.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, obviously
Are they definitely replacing Russia?
I've heard there's quite a few possibilities.
Yeah.
One being Malaysia Grand Prix to be back.
I'd love that. I don't think it will just because of the money, but I would love it.
Yeah, obviously money's the main issue here.
Yeah.
But apart from Malaysia, it's apparently I've heard it's more Portugal now.
Okay. Okay.
It was meant to be. There was a lot of talk around Turkey.
Okay.
That's kind of been swept to the side, and the 2 front runners are Malaysia and Portugal.
Okay. Okay. That would be good. That would be good. Oh wait, is Japan back?
No.
Is it?
No,
I don't.
I don't think so.
I just thought of Japan because I got a league race at Japan tonight, and I was like, wait, hang on, have we mentioned this one? Because I was
Yeah, it's back.
it's back. What have we? Oh god, we are so underprepared. We literally messaged and we're like, yeah, don't bother scripting it because we'll forget anyway. We should have written down more points.
Yeah, so Japan. How can we forget about Japan?
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So. Right, I'm getting the calendar up. How many races are there this year? I thought I was so confident on that.
It was meant to be 23 with Russia,
Ah, okay.
because they haven't replaced it with anything yet.
Mm,
It's 22.
okay.
Obviously, there's no Qatar this year to the World Cup. Then I've heard recent talk that it could replace Russia because Russia's in September.
Mm.
Obviously, the World Cup December, I think.
Oh yeah, there is no guitar. Okay, so we got Singapore, Italy, Netherlands. Netherlands is going to be a very hard track with these cars. With the, I can't pronounce what it is, but the bumping around that they do.
Proportion. I'm going to go with that. Proportion.
Nice, that one. Yes. It's a very, very, very bumpy track. It could be bad there.
I saw the video of Gasly with it.
Oh, it's metal concert.
It just looked like he was a bit of a bogey in the car. Like, hold on a minute, let me just go down, you know, driving along, just bobbing along, and I'm just like, actually looks quite fun.
Yeah, he's got his.
How would they want to get rid of it?
He's got the radio on instead of talking to his engineer. Just like
Sing me a song.
yeah, literally. I think yeah, I don't know how they won't get headaches or anything or just like concussion with driving these cars. But I mean, I just hope it gets better. Canada will be really good though. I think Canada will be a really good race because they've not been there so long.
Yeah, obviously it will be Latifi's first time racing there.
Oh.
He joined in 2020. Obviously, Canada hasn't been on calendar since 2019. So obviously, it's his home race as well as Lance Stroll's.
Yeah, that would be good. There will be a lot of fans there then, won't they, as well? Because they've got 2 drivers to support there. They all love racing anyway, so that'll be interesting. That will be good. I'm gonna predict as well. I'm just looking at the time. So I'm gonna predict give me your. No, we can't do it. No, actually, do it. We're gonna do it. Give me your race
Do
winner. Give me your race winner for Bahrain.
Right. Oh, how's the player?
Ooh, I like it. Okay. I was expecting Max or Lewis. I was expecting one of those two.
I'm a bit
Yeah.
like, I think Mercedes are hiding something,
Yeah.
which is, like I said, turn out very good or very bad. But Red Bull, I'm not sure, but they haven't done overly well at testing, like in Barcelona and Bahrain, until see today's morning session. So it makes me think, could they possibly have some issues with reliability?
Yeah. Okay.
And yeah, so I'm gonna stick with Charles.
Nice.
I'm gonna be a Ferrari supporter for the first race.
Nice. I said interesting because I was going to say science. So I mean,
Really?
yeah. I've been saying it for like the last couple of days to my friends that I think I wouldn't be surprised. Like, I really think he could, if they've got it right, if Ferrari have got it right. I think he wants to start strong, and yeah, I think he could win. So watch us next week. Just message each other like, yeah, that was terrible.
Yeah, we're just gonna get it completely wrong. Of course, it's gonna be Lewis or Max.
Yeah. Yeah, it won't be.
At least
them, yeah.
one thing it probably won't be will be the sequence of, or mixed sequence of Verham bot.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Well, it definitely won't be Bot in his Alfa Romeo.
No offense, like, you've had really good races, but obviously you're not in like the best car or one of the best cars anymore. So
yeah,
it could be a sequence of like maybe some different names.
yeah, a couple of Nors, a couple of Ricks in there this year, hopefully.
Yeah, definitely.
I think, yeah, it is going to be crazy. I think it's going to be a great season, and I'm still sticking by my 8 winners. That wraps up our first episode of All Things Single Seater. So we'll be back for the opening round review, I'm guessing, of Bahrain, so we can discuss obviously the race and everything that goes on. We can see how off we were with our predictions. But we will be back then next week. So until then, guys, we will catch you all next time.